I'm Mr. James,
And I'm Mr. Ritchie.
and we
We
are
are
the
the
educators. Oh, wow. Season 4. I always say that. Episode number 9. It's Thursday. It's March something, 3rd, right?
Is it? The
I think
third?
it's 3rd. No, it's the 4th. It's the
Yeah, it's the
4th.
fourth. There we go.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Garmin. Thanks for quantifying my time.
Yeah.
This week, so far, it's kind of like, it's kind of like this. Which is an instrument I've been giving kids, but you actually have to stretch it. It's just got woodwind, a single reed woodwind, but I don't want to go into that because I've already gone into that so many times this week, and now no one understands. Why can't you give us a real instrument like a saxophone? Like, I'm going to give you a $400 saxophone to one person. I can't give it to everybody, and it's almost as big as you are, so
Right.
you just
Yeah.
can't win. How's this
I
week
have
been for you?
I have students, I fought tooth and nail to get this cabinet full of 24 Chromebooks. And I let the kids use them, of course, to learn coding and things like that. And then they'll say, Do we keep these? Do we keep the computers? I was like, no, you don't keep the computers. Why would you
Yeah.
even consider that as an option? Like, gosh, I wish, but like, no, you already have Chromebooks that the school gives you and like loans to you, or you have iPads. Like, you honestly don't need these, but no. And it's like, yeah, like, honestly, like, you don't need these.
Yeah, it's like it'd be like at the end of maybe every class I have with you. If something you used every class, and then I could give it to you, that would be great. But if you just typed a
Yeah.
couple things in and then look, I showed I know how to use it. Can I have it now? Okay, I'm going to give it to you, and then tomorrow, what are we going to do? Do I have to come up with something else and then give that to you, and then give
I
you
want to
more material and more, and then you're drowning in it?
I want to give them like those little computers, like what do you call them, the
Oh yeah, the Raspberry
Raspberry
Pi. Yeah.
Pis. Yeah, I want to give them those, but it's like, you know we need to see each other a lot more than we're able to see each other right now. Otherwise, this thing doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like those kind of computers could really send a kid off. But it's like, you need to be here for more than 30 minutes twice a week. Just,
Give me the shiny thing. And that might
yeah.
be I might do a rant on that later. That might
That's
be a
oh,
thing.
interesting. I like
Yeah, I
that.
think I talked about that maybe earlier today, and I think I finally remembered what the rant should be about. So we're
Nice.
entering into Quantified Self Part 3. I did question having this Part 3 because this is about the community of Quantified Self. And no, I'm not going to share my screen and go into a forum and show you who I'm talking to and such like that because, it's like a community like anything else. If you want to join, they're going to check out why you want to join and such. But we're talking in general about being part of a community online and how it's actually beneficial to you, aren't you? You're part of a community about rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So an online community of rockets, like model rockets.
Yeah.
So common name is like Estes rockets, and so there's not a forum, but a page,
Yeah.
Facebook page about them. And recently, speaking of community, I happen to celebrate the fact that I will be doing a rocketry unit in my next trimester, and a lot of people voiced that they wanted to help out and offered to donate rockets, like the actual kits,
Hmm.
and they wanted to donate money towards it. And I was just vacuuming my basement about 10 minutes ago, and out of nowhere, someone who has never commented on any of that, just a member of the community, reached out and gave me $150
Wow.
just out of nowhere. And as of right now, because of that donation, I'm at 100% coverage for the lesson unit that I need to do, which is to provide a rocket engine under supervision, rocket engine only under supervision,
Yeah.
but the rocket kit to approximately 150 students. So, that's 5th and 6th grade. That's the appropriate age to start learning how to build rockets. And 150 students, 150 kits, hopefully a little bit more, at least that I can build one myself and show them how to do it. But that's pretty amazing. It's completely crowdsourced, and I didn't even really reach out for this at all. It was sort of like thrown my way. And along with that, I had educators from around the world commenting and giving me rocketry tips, rocketry links, complete lesson plans. Just, I am overwhelmed with, honestly, it only took just one little post to talk about, how I can't wait to try to make rockets out of paper or toilet paper tubes. And people are like, oh, you don't want to do that. Why don't you go with the kits? And it's like, well, there's a cost issue. And, then people are like, well, why don't we just help out? And they did. It's amazing. And it's people from all walks of life. A lot of them are older men that really believe in the space program. And they know that I have access to 500 students a year or more, and that putting a rocket in their hands is probably the best way to get them interested in aerospace. And so I plan to use that fully. And so community is incredibly important. And now it's incredibly important to my curriculum. And so with the Quantified Self movement, absolutely, like, there's more than one person out there that wants to know what's happening inside their body. And so, of course, they would naturally, like a brook turns into a river, they funnel into certain areas. And you found a community of people like-minded like us that like to measure measure our different statistics that we can possibly measure. And I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So let's go to some pessimistic stuff. But maybe not so pessimistic. What's going on as of
got to do the COVID update.
March 4th.
If you go back 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I bet you will find where we were talking about the Super Bowl uptick.
Yeah.
Well, we're certainly right in the heart of it right now. I think this is 3 weeks later, but we're still trending upwards. It was a steep dive for like a month, and then all of a sudden, after that event, it rose. And I don't know. Right now, we're at yesterday was a higher note than today, so I don't think that we're over a cusp, but we might be. Because as of right now, our 7-day average in Maine means every day average right now is 170 people every day that get COVID, and at least enough that they go get tested. And last week at this time, the 7-day average was 147. So we're certainly on an increase there. As a country, we are actually down, which is kind of shocking. 68,000 last week. 7-day average this week 64,000. So 64,000 new cases every day is still something to be really concerned about. But given our history and the limited amount of response, you celebrate any victory you can, because in the world, unfortunately, not the same situation. So numbers have gone up in the world. 364,000 average new cases last week at this time. 385,000 new cases as an average this week. So as of right now, we are on an uptick in the world, in this state. And I imagine the data for the USA is just a little lagging or something, because I'm sure that we are not going anywhere with this, especially with Texas.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. How can you not, right? Like, they're just going, pretending it doesn't exist. Literally what the governor said, like, if you, I'm paraphrasing, so it's not literally, but paraphrasing the governor, let's just pretend this isn't even a thing anymore, and let's just go back to it. Stuff everyone in the schools, stuff everyone into the shopping complexes. Let's just, we'll have music venues open again, wine bars, restaurants, no restrictions whatsoever, business as usual. And I mean, our current president did say that this is Neanderthal thinking, and I support that sentiment. Just uneducated, old-fashioned, just
let's fire those coal plants up and just get oil everywhere.
Oblivious to the greater threat behind their very limited worldview, and that just, it's a very accurate description, I feel.
It's this is a
But
mess. I mean,
but
you
we
get
can
that one little
transition from
thing,
this into our trivia question though pretty easily.
which is funny because it's the same one as last week. We thought it was so good, we just put it again. Which
Exactly. Let's
is,
take a look.
what
92.
is our respective heart rates currently? You've got 92. You must
I
be.
got,
Mine's down to 58.
oh, 86.
Am I even alive? What's going on? It's
Yeah.
58.
I gotta, so, and
I don't
that's
know what the
interesting.
I never know what the Halo, the band does. The Halo band
Oh,
though. I don't know
well,
if that I
we
believe
could
that
pull
has
up
one
the
too.
app. I'm gonna pull up the app,
App is going
and
up right now.
I'm gonna
Halo with
compare.
a smile. Okay.
Yeah.
That's last night my sleep was 92. Great. Although I
Mine was
thought this morning it's,
65.
oh my god. Oh my god. Got those breathing routines I mentioned, right?
Yeah.
6 in, 6 out. Do that for like 20 minutes.
Let's see. Heart rate.
Oh, I
Let's
think we can
see.
do that live too.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. All right, so resting heart rate as an average is 64.
Mine
So I'm above
says,
average
okay,
right now.
72 currently. And
Let's see. I don't
I don't
know
want to.
how to live. There we go. Live. All right, here we go. I've got Amazon Halo still calculating. My Huawei GT2 is reporting. Let's see.
Oh, they're both
Currently
the same now.
84.
Yeah. Well,
But
58, 59 right now. They're both the same.
interesting.
I wouldn't want
That's
to do my
good. That's
tone.
a good spread. Now, right now, I had to restart the Halo because it's not responding. Let's see. Heart. If I measured tone right now, it would say it's like slightly annoyed. Yeah, I am, because I'm trying to do something live. Oh,
Oh,
78.
this day did say I was annoyed for quite a point of the day. I do remember saying that. Oh, interested, focused, skeptical, focused, knowledgeable, interested, confident.
Knowledgeable. All right, that's when you
Yeah.
want to. All right, they're even. 78. 78
Calm.
beats per minute right now.
I'm so happy.
All
Hi,
right.
everybody. I'm so happy. Oh, I jumped right up to appreciative, satisfied, delighted. That's so great. Can you imagine the podcast being like
Yeah.
this? I'm so excited every time. Hey, back and forth from my microphones for those watching. Okay, that gets boring after a while, but you see why some of these things are kind of weird the way they are. So, some science in the news.
I like the kitty.
Yes, and that has to do with one of the items that's good for the spring. This is the
Yeah.
cat getting completely high on catnip. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Because when I looked
Yeah.
up for the images, I just typed catnip in. First one, DNA databases are too white. So genetics doesn't help everyone. How do we
So
fix that?
I dove into that article, and somewhere in the article it said that the database is 60 people wide. That's the database. And I'd say that's too small of a database to
Yeah.
pull some conclusions, but I might be wrong. And if you are a DNA scientist, please let us know in the comments. But I mean, 60 people, and they say 99.9999%, all people have the same DNA. Well, obviously that's that 0.1% is what they mentioned too, that isn't represented. And 0.1%, so a tenth of a percent is still, that's a significant margin when you know that that's probably in the area of genetics where big things change. And so it's still incredibly important. But I'd say as a whole, the question is, how do we fix that? As a whole, we've got to expand this database already.
Yeah.
Let's just balance this out. Like there's, no reason why something that's like this big of if it's this newsworthy, it's trusted by all these medical scientists. There's no reason that like 10 people don't just get dispersed to certain parts of the world. Have people sign up for DNA, I don't know, like tests or something, or offer them something for free. Can we and we're gonna use this for good, we promise, like sign here. We're gonna not try to sell your DNA. We're just going to learn from it, all this stuff. And you will get the spread that you're looking for. Like, I'm shocked that it was that limited already. Just given the fact that, I mean, at this point, we are diving into the genome. We're diving into the human body in like different ways that is just amazing and like, you know, scary at some point. And it's like, how many conclusions can we draw from a spread of 60 people? And so
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like these wearables we're wearing, I mean, eventually we should be able to they should be able to take our DNA right there and give us a readout. I mean, maybe
I
30
know.
years in the future, but that should be happening where it's like, oh, here's a whole readout and it just tells you everything you want. I mean, that's it shouldn't be. I mean, I realize how hard it was originally to get the data for that, but
You know, I
yeah,
think it's always comes down to um, not even what's possible, it's just profitable.
yeah,
And that's such a small snapshot because rules and laws and regulations change. And so it's just unfortunate the inefficiencies that are in the system where incredibly good ideas like, you know, there are electric vehicle batteries that run off water and like glass and these really like inert materials, but because for some reason they're not industrially like ready for that, you know, that sort of change, they just go away because of the almighty dollar, and we just want to make more money. And so um, I'm sure that there's so much more data this could pull.
yeah.
You know, you had an like first generation smartwatch that you said like you could be like doing a certain exercise and it says, wow, looks like you're doing this
Yeah,
kind of an
it was
exercise, you
exactly. I
know.
was like, oh my gosh, okay, and it
Yeah.
just starts counting down and counting the reps and stuff and sets. I was like, what?
Oh my gosh. I just received another donation to my um,
Wow.
thing. So, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
this is great.
next in science in the news. So, people who have had COVID-19 might need only one shot of a coronavirus
Yeah,
vaccine.
I was wondering what you thought about that.
I think that that makes exactly perfect sense. It's sort of like this. It's like, um, you know, you've got this castle, the human body castle, and like this horde of raiders comes in during the daylight or something where they're easily recognizable, and you fight them off,
Yeah,
right? Because obviously these are people that survived, um, and so then you inject this thing that's a fake version of them, and they start attacking, and all of a sudden all of the defenses go, oh, it's these guys again,
yeah,
let's ramp up our defenses. We know exactly how they're going to strike. We're going to ramp it up, we're going to fight them off, and then we're going to stay active because, well, they've attacked twice now, so now we're going to be ready for them again. And that's how I, you know, my analogy for that, because it's like that totally makes sense that your you know, like I can't remember the names specifically, but there's these cells that like keep that information and retain it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And yeah, and so I feel like it's just the body going, oh, it's this again. You know what? I remember this from last time. That's it. They're never getting in again. And it seems that, the Pfizer vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, they need, one shot and a booster. Obviously Johnson & Johnson's different, but it's like it makes sense. Like this two separate instances of this specific DNA type recognition response. Like that, it makes sense. However, I mean, I am still like, there's a lot of claims being made out there right now. I still just, I want even more information. I can't wait for more information to come out that we can like get some vaccines and really like not have to worry about this anymore. And,
yeah.
that is promising. I just don't know if I'm going to rest my full weight on it,
Yeah, and that's the thing too. People, have you had COVID-19? And like you mentioned at one point today, you said, I wish I could just get the antibody test to figure out if I had it. Because maybe you're just so healthy, you had it, it happened for one day, you just,
Yeah.
whatever, your nose is running because it might normally run because it's cold out like everyone else's. And it
Yeah.
was basically that. And then whatever, your body's like destroyed it and you had it and you want to know, did I have it before? What?
Yeah. I mean, 90, whatever. I don't remember exactly what the percentage is, but like most people literally get it and don't know they have it. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's over and done with. And it's like, but the lethality, I'm not minimizing the lethality of it, because it is bad.
Oh yeah.
This is, 15 times higher than the flu. Like there's no, question in my mind, but it's like, you and I are just in direct line of sight of the corona gun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we are just right there, front line. We're not these teachers that hang at the back and bark orders. We are in with the kids. We do
On the
these things.
ground, getting dirty every day.
Yeah, absolutely. We do our best to protect ourselves. Absolutely, we do our best. But honestly, that's like, we do what we can, but there's still no perfect response to this. And so
Yeah.
it's like,
I've been double masking. I even have, so this is an example. It's funny. Here's my masks for the week.
yeah, not,
This
whoa.
giant pile
Yeah.
of ironed masks because they were all washed, and there they are. And I still have some masks that came in the mail today that have copper infused in them and maybe a little bit of woo, but hopefully whatever. They always it's a marketing thing. They have to fill the whole card up with marketing things, so they had to add extra something like, it deflects.
Right.
Copper does this, copper does that. Not that the mask does it, right? Copper does that. Yes, good job, copper. You didn't give me
Right.
enough copper, probably, but
Yeah. But it's I give them an A for effort. That we
yeah,
are, we're not the average bear. We're pretty scientifically literate. So it's like, all right, we know that in general masks work. We know that thicker, more restrictive masks naturally work.
yeah.
And that more layers equals better effects. So even if they sell it with the woo, the cloth in the mask is functional, so it's working, but maybe
Yeah.
not the way they explain it. But
So last
now
one
to talk
is
about this kitty.
yeah, the last one is for the cat. We have a cat on the screen laying in looks like just a bunch of greens, which is actually catnip, and the cat looks like it's just really enjoying things. It might be just be enjoying the sun because cats loves the sun. So it's because
I know.
catnip repels insects. Scientists may have finally found out how. And so
I
basically,
know.
yeah,
I would. So in that article, it says that it might repel as good as DEET,
yeah,
and I'm like, this is a study that it says like we don't need to. It might be. Let's figure this out. Like catnip does not affect humans at all,
yeah,
and I'm sure that if we bathed in it, it might irritate our skin. Potentially have some sort of like neurological effects, minor neurological effect, like a nicotine or something. But like, it's completely harmless. So if catnip is as effective as DEET, let's get on this. What are we
you
doing?
can have
We live
cats
in
rubbing against you all the time. You're like, I don't know why cats love me so much.
right? Like, do I got to take maybe a catnip supplement will keep the ticks off us because we live in the land of ticks,
Oh, yeah.
and we're trying to avoid Lyme disease. And it wouldn't affect you if you got Lone Star tick, but every once in a while I like to partake on some red meat, and one Lone Star tick bite, and boom, you have an allergy to red meat now. I know that because my grandfather, who was 93 when he got bit by a Lone Star tick, ate a prime rib every Friday until he was 93 when he got bit by the tick, and now he has the allergy. And it's like, it's incredible. He lived long, he's living a long, good life. But to imagine going without that specific thing that you've used all
Wow.
the time. And so if catnip really works this good, I want to use this. I read
Yeah.
this today a little bit ago, and now I want to go grow it. I want to order some seeds because they're cheap. Catnip
Yeah.
seeds are cheap, and I want to like make catnip and like, I don't know, infuse it with water and spray it around my entire yard or something. Like because if they're saying it's good as DEET, we need to research this.
Yeah. It does this thing. It affects mosquitoes and bugs by like a pain receptor that they have, is like that. And they're trying to figure out in
Yeah.
cats what it does, why cats go crazy about it.
How crazy is that we share? So what they're implying in that story is that we humans have a similar receptor as these insects. And that's not crazy because insects have eyes, they have legs.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain similarities. We do share genetics with insects. It's just, you know, very far removed, but it's like, um, we share this specific trait where this chemical is an irritant or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And then cats, who are way closer related to us, for some reason, have this euphoric, like,
Yeah.
drug effect, and it's just one of those things about it, you know, in nature that it sounds too crazy. And then I bet if we like really dive in, it's like, oh yeah, you know, like if you can answer this question, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like they always do. It's like, yeah, like that lineage totally made sense. Like the
Yeah.
cat is from this thing that responded. It grew up in an area with all of this certain type of, you know, plant matter, and, you know, developed an immunity. And, you know, like there's always these stories that go along with it that make sense, but right now it doesn't.
Yeah, what's funny? Like we're like, you're like, hey, quick, get that stuff away from me.
Hmm.
It causes pain, and the person goes, and the cat's like, oh yeah, oh, oh man, this
Yeah.
stuff's great. Oh, it hurts so good. It feels
Have
so
you guys
good.
tried this? Like, cause this is really, really good stuff. I need to run around right now.
Now, being that we're in Maine and this huge, big, I'll just briefly mention this big thing about marijuana, and everyone used to tell me that catnip is related to marijuana. They always said catnip is the female part of the marijuana plant. They'd always say something like that, which is wrong.
And catnip's a stimulant,
Yeah.
and it does not affect, like, humans have, um, you know, THC receptors in their brains, and I think cats do too. You know, most mammals I think do. It's just it's a naturally occurring, like, not a hormone, but like a chemical that's, you know,
Yeah.
it's in foods and it's in things. You know, you have a receptor because it does certain things in your mind, in your body. And catnip is a stimulant, which is an entirely different class. You know, I don't think catnip breaks the blood-brain barrier, and so, whereas THC does. And so, um, it's the drug effect. I think, you know, if anything, it's more like, right, it's more like cocaine or meth or something, because when I give it to my cats, they are off the wall.
Yeah.
And so it's, I don't know if it's got any relation to marijuana, but it's green and it's a plant, and so, you know, it's got that in
And
common.
everyone's gonna fit that like, hey, that's broccoli. Broccoli's related to marijuana. You're like, yeah, eat more broccoli, guy. Don't you
There you
grow
go.
that
Yeah.
instead of growing marijuana everywhere?
Eat it, don't smoke the broccoli. It
Uh,
won't, you know,
yeah,
inhaling any burnt vegetable, you know, it's
just
not gonna
grow some heirloom tomatoes. Everybody who's got these businesses, we could
send
really
them to
use some
me.
good quality vegetables in this state, and that's not one of them. So,
Yep.
sorry. Opinions matter, everybody. Comment section, please. All right, from an educator today. This is just a quick little thing. Notice on the right hand side, if you can possibly see it, it says expectations versus reality. And I
Hmm.
said, giving students realistic expectations. Doesn't mean breaking anyone's dreams. It just means giving them some hope amid everything that's going on, that what they should basically look towards and what is real, and not trying to sell them something that's empty and generalized. In my
Yeah.
case, I say, yep, you can, yeah,
I just want to say, like, there's teachers that are real, and there's teachers that put on a facade,
yeah,
you know, and then there's parents that are real. There's parents that put on a facade, and there's, on the facade side, you know, there's only one real, but like there's, on the facade side, there's a spectrum, and it's like you could get any, men, specifically, you know, a lot of these kids that especially in, certain students that I've worked with, but it's like they go home to men that put on a fake, tough facade, you
yeah,
know, because they think that it's, culturally relevant or relevant, and it's like, no, like that's, you don't need to pretend that you're tough. Like that's, it's not important, you know. And so, they're getting that, and then, but, you know, there's real, then there's this whole spectrum of fake. And I think that we are two real teachers that like to just tell the kids how it is, and expectation versus reality, just like it says. It's like, it's good to have goals and dreams, but it's also good to know what really happens when you chase them.
Yeah, and especially like, how things work in the real world. I say children
Yeah.
need to know how the world works so they can focus on real goals that can be maintained. Like for someone who wants to, and this is not just for just like fantasy things that would never happen, but for as a music teacher, somebody, and I don't have anyone saying I want to be a musician when I grow up. Actually, no one has said that to me in like a long time. And I think it's because music means something different to everybody. And that's exactly the way I think it should be. I'd rather be training scientists that look through the world with a scientific lens and they want to understand how it works. And they figure out that music, this specific style, subgenre, whatever, they like that and it helps them be productive. And this other music helps them when they exercise. And this whatever, whether they play it or not, if they like to play it and they go, I like the social aspect of playing music with other people, and we tend to play this music because it has some political leanings or whatever. I know I'm not getting that from elementary students, but I want them to tell, like, okay, if you want to make money, I've made money in music in the state and I've had to
I've
be
made money
everything.
not on the same level, but me, like almost a complete amateur, started making money 10 years ago as a musician. And, I even talk about that, me and you had a conversation. Student was like, because I talk about jobs all the
Yeah.
time. I think part of STEM is to get kids excited for things like the trades. And so I accept that, and coming from a trade background, no problem. But like, I'm realistic about it. Working in a garage is not same as an office, but like, you know, uh, telling kids that like, oh, I mean, I forgot what your point was actually. I digressed, but basically, got to like let them know the reality and not some fake story.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just that whole thing of, if like, I don't want to sell anyone short so that they don't understand how things actually work out. If I don't have all the answers, I want to tell them I don't have all the answers. Things can change all the time.
Yeah,
But that whole idea of like, well, no, you can be anything you want, and the world exists where this can happen, when
it's
it
like
when it
it's
really
like right
doesn't.
there. That that's the up part that people always sell, and they forget the down part that it's like you can be anything you want, but you are going to have to try your hardest and harder than anyone else in order to get that.
Yeah.
Like you have to, it's like I use Elon Musk a lot just because it's easy and
Yeah.
convenient, but you know, Elon Musk was an immigrant to this country. Um, in a matter of 20 years, he went from being, flat broke, living in the rented, office space that him and his brother used to make software, into being the richest man in the world. And it's like, you know, his model of work ethic is certainly not something that I glamorize, but it's realistic.
Yeah.
Like if you want to achieve things that are greater than other people, you need to put a greater amount of effort than most people. It's just the way it goes. And so, and that's what you said. So children need to know how the world works. Well, that's the way the world works. And then luck is a thing, and, luck meaning that there's no control over it. But, some people just have some bad luck. They live a decent life. They have some health issues show up and boom, they're bankrupt. And, stuff like that can happen. And so, understanding that the world doesn't cater to your expectations is enormous, and they need to know that that going the extra mile really means putting in the effort. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean getting the extra reward. It means that you put in that effort, even if there's no audience sometimes. And
Yeah. I really get
that's
them interested in small goals and tiny little things and realize that everything can add up. So you can go
well,
and
that's
you can get these little tiny goals, and then that goal
yeah.
can lead you off in a completely different direction, but you've made it to that level where you can go in that direction
Well, so
because you
that's
put that effort in.
that's a huge part of computational thinking in STEM. And that's like that you take this giant goal and you break it down into these small manageable steps. And it's like, all right, I'm in elementary school. I obviously, I have a great effect over my future, but I have a limited effect. So what I need to do is pay attention, do this, do that, and follow this path, this trajectory, listen to my teachers, when I get to middle school, apply, for the tech programs,
Yeah.
And that takes some effort. A lot of kids are afraid when they fill out that card or whatever it is nowadays, when you fill out what electives you want to take in middle school. I picked the technology ones and I was scared to. I was like, oh my God, what is that? But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I am. And
Yeah.
so it's giving these kids the confidence. Like, um, a few years ago, I wouldn't have the confidence to take a computer class. Now I teach coding, and it's so, like giving kids confidence, knowing that the world is tough, giving them that work ethic, can really make a difference in having the kids have a worldview about, this society that we've thrown them into. Because honestly, it's the people that are our age that are now in control of their entire world. So we take that responsibility pretty heavily, since we are devoting our careers right now to the betterment of mankind.
Yeah. And on to quantified self. I'm going to keep it very brief because we don't have a lot to talk about with quantified self anymore. It literally comes down to something you do for yourself. And we in the first episode, we said
That's fair.
it's quantifying yourself. That's
Yeah.
basically what it is. It's self-tracking. In the second episode, we said, here's how we self-track. Here's our tools. And
the phrase, or the word quantified, I think intimidates a lot of people. Like anything that falls quant is usually like, ooh, that's too
quantum
heavy for me.
physics.
Yeah, quantum physics, that's too heavy for me. And you know what? That is too heavy for me.
Yeah.
But like quantified just means countable.
Yeah.
That's what quantified means, countable. Like you take data to put it into numbers. How tall is something? How wide is something? Like we do that naturally. So quantified self, if you're just tuning into this episode without the first two, just understand that quantified self is as simple as this. Like, I don't get any simpler than like watching my weight, watching my heartbeat, watching it change with different activities and exercises. And with this, it does kind of the same thing as this, but it also helps me quantify my time, by setting reminders, things that like help me keep my day organized. And so, yeah, I am interested to hear more about this community, because you are in the community. I am not. I am a fan of quantified self, but I don't have, I spend my expendable time, on other projects other than like you and I defer right there. But like, so I can't wait to hear more about this.
So yeah, there is a Quantified Self website. There is a Quantified Self Institute as well. I mean, you could just do a Google search, type in Quantified Self, and find everybody's got this different opinions on, what to go, where this is, that. I'm sure there's Facebook pages. I'm sure there's Reddit, subreddits, all that such. But I just, imagine a community connecting with like-minded people and sharing your projects. And I just say, whatever you can do, find a community out there. If there's specifically something you're quantifying, say you have some disease, disorder, you type in quantified self and then type in, that disease, say it's Crohn's disease or something like that. You're going to find those in a community that quantify that and what they've been using. And it could just be a talk of supplements and maybe diet and such, but those that are actually writing down exactly what they're using and quantifying it. And you can see, hey, that worked for that person. Oh, I haven't tried that supplement before. Maybe I should add that to my stack and stuff. And it's just one of those, it's just a great way to do this. I mean, this is how everyone should do research. You can work on the backs of others, and if they've really done research. I used to do that if I always felt I was like, oh man, what is this wrong with me? Should I go see a doctor? Let me first check to see who already went to see a doctor and paid all this money. And if it feels like I'm very similar to them, maybe that's, it's one thing that it possibly could be, because I would never want to go to a doctor without myself having a good idea. Generally, the last few times I've actually had to go to a doctor, I told them exactly what it was. And it was that, And I was like, yeah, it's that. Check it. And it's strep throat. And he's like, yeah, well, I don't know. And I'm like, he checks, then he comes back, goes, yeah, you're right, strep throat. It's like, I'm like, yeah, I know what it feels like.
It's good to get to that level where like you're literate enough, like scientifically literate enough to like like, because a lot of people say, oh, don't Google your symptoms, but like, no, you can. Like, you sometimes can if you have a clarity of vision and the ability to skim and scan through a large swath of information and extract the useful aspects of it, then yeah, you can really draw some real conclusions, and that's a pretty good demonstration.
Yeah. There's definitely, there are those that know more than you and have better tools and software, so you
Yeah.
can let them help you with your data. And that's basically what we're hoping for, is that we're going to find somebody who's like, I measure for these things, and it's the same stuff that we measure for, and I run it through this metric that tests for potential diabetes or some disease that could develop later in life. And you go, hey, wait a minute, that's exactly what we need. And the person made the software, and you get to use it and run it through, and you're like, this is so much insight. This is exactly what I need. Thanks. I'm so glad this person who actually knows how to create software could help me, because
And this
otherwise,
is
it's just these major businesses that make these apps for these devices that we have that we're totally tied to, which is, horrible.
well, and this is why though that like you mentioned that there's sort of like um there's a little bit of gatekeeping,
Yeah.
you know, who are you? Because in this modern world, we know that in every arena where people are enjoying themselves, there are people who seek to sneak in and just
Yeah.
ruin it.
Or make
And
money off
that in
somebody.
its, yeah.
Scooby
And then
Doo.
that is a form of enjoyment for the intruder. And these people have altruistic ideas like we just want to be here with ourselves, we just want to be ourselves and talk about these things, and a person can sneak in some false information and
Yeah.
can change the complete view of these other people. And so if you have someone that sneaks into that sort of a um, circle, and they start giving false information or inaccurate readings, or they're just making it up. And some people do that. They show up to these groups and they just pretend because they want that community, but they haven't really done the effort.
Yeah.
And so there's this natural thing where you have to purify your results, and you have to make sure that you don't get garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
So you got to purify the data sometimes. And so in any community, like you say, together stronger.
Yeah.
Well, that's if people are like-minded with the same goals. When you
Yeah.
get one person into a mix with the goal is to harm the other people in the group, it's pretty easy to start changing results of data. So
And they should be sharing, triumphs and hardships, because I think that's one of
yeah.
the big things that, like, with a quantified self, if something fails that you're doing, if you're like, that didn't do this, it still needs to be reported. It's not like, I'm going to report everything that's happy that worked out, that I thought would work out. Science doesn't work like that. Science is like, did you fail at something? Great. Tell all of us so we don't have to fail as well. That's exactly how we can build upon this, because we don't want to go through those 5 years of all those experiments that you did and fail again when you already could have
Yeah.
told us that we would have
And if it
failed.
was on like the like, I'm in a car community as well, auto, like performance cars and stuff like that. And it's like if everyone contributed and just explained all the stuff that they did wrong while
Yeah.
like rebuilding their engine or something, so many people would learn from it. But it's human pride, of course, that stands in the way of sharing that. And when you have a community where you feel comfortable in sharing uncomfortable things without
Mhm.
negative recourse, um, then more data can be shared, more meaningful data can be shared, more accurate data, because in the car community, everybody's car is the fastest, whereas someone could say, well, I did this, I really messed it up, I shouldn't have done that. Don't port your own heads, because if you do and you mess up the flow rate, all of a sudden get inaccurate power readings, stuff like really hyper specific things in your field that like that is, you got to have that. So hardships, triumphs.
Yeah.
I like the log it in, like put the data in. And
Yeah.
I'm as guilty as anyone, because like I could be recording everything in my life, but like, there's a limit. But the more data you can record, honestly, the better off in the end.
Yeah.
I can say that.
You get faster knowledge, and other people get faster knowledge about things because, like, great, I don't have to read
Yeah.
through a book. Like, there's a lot of books that you could be like, can I condense that book down to a list? That'd be great.
Yeah.
I have like a stack of
I
5 books I just got on breathing because, I'm into this big breathing thing right now, and I'm trying to do things to relax, some things to get me crazy hot, Wim Hof style, which has got another name to it, which we'll go into at another point. And also, ways to breathe while I'm running, and so that I can actually use more carbon dioxide in my body, which is actually better for you. But see, there's more things. I'm opening some worms right now, but it's that faster knowledge. I really get faster things. Somebody else can read this, give me the synopsis, give me the bullet points. Great. I have to go through the next book, and I'll help you out with this book. So you get faster results. You get to do something. You get an impetus too to want to help the community because it feels like a family. And I think that's a big thing too. Those that really are our tight community, we're going to help each other, and when things go down, we'll be there for each other. And, we're already at the forefront of stuff. I mean, who knows who's at the forefront? I had the actual quantified self like originator send me a unit to use. And I'm like, yes, of course. I'm definitely going to get some data for him and say, I've got this data. I hope I know how to quantify it, but
Right.
I'm going to have to get a CSV file up and just start writing things down as soon as I get that thing stapled to myself.
And now an impetus, I think that actually like harks back to like, I think one of our first episodes, but the impetus for change is just that, isn't it that moment of extra energy or something like that, that thing that causes change or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the thing. I mean, in my mind, I hear the impetus for change in a lot of people is willpower. And I'll admit that, like, for me, in my mind, it's a scoreboard of willpower, like what I do in a day. Do I have the will to do this? Do I have the will to do that? And if, you want this data, then if you truly want the data, then you'll have this moment of change and you will go after it. And then from there, what you do with it, of course, depends on a whole other range of input, of effort. But yeah, I think that, if this is something that you are truly interested in, quantified self, it's good to seek out the community. One, to root out cheap, ineffective, meaningless quantification, like the Gatorade sticker.
I sent him something this week, everybody, that you stick on your arm and it tells you if you should drink more Gatorade. And of course, I said, well, it could be used for hydration in general, but Gatorade's going to be like, no, you need Gatorade.
Right. I'm curious, like, if you could extract more data than just, do you need Gatorade, yes or no? Like, if there's actual data to be gained, I'm all ears.
I'm waiting for the tattoos that everyone talked about that exist in California right now. They can tattoo some electrodes and stuff like that. So it can basically be one of these, but on a tattoo on your body. And that'll probably be my first tattoo, and it can be your 12th one or something.
Yeah. Right underneath my...
Yeah, just a little thing like that. Yeah, but I mean, that'd be great. Be like, hey, look at my heart rate's doing this. You're like, and look at it. It's a tattoo.
Yeah.
Tattoo.
You know what? I wonder if that causes interference, because it is metals. The color is metals, different metals, and I wonder if that causes interference.
You're like, you're going crazy in one of them. So the next slide's going to take us exactly 1 minute or less. Is it spring here yet? My answer is no, it's not spring yet. It was kind of cold today.
Yeah. And my answer is heck no. It's definitely not here. The entire yard is covered in snow and ice and like 4 layers of different texture of precipitation. Like, nope, not in Maine. It is not spring. Spring is mud season, and we are not in mud season because I cannot see the mud.
That's going to be so bad because my front yard's already mud because they had to rip it up.
I did not snowblow the last like 2 or 3 times Like one was because of a couple of snowblower failures. I have an old snowblower that I just can't justify the expense of $2,000 into a snowblower. So I
Yeah.
can't, I have a $2,000 snowblower from 2001, so, and it was given to me. So it was a really good snowblower for 2001, and it's still alive, but like it breaks bolts and argues with me and all the time. But so the last time I just drove over it, compacted it in.
No.
The problem is, and I know it when I'm doing it. The problem is that mud season means that all those 7 layers of ice melt into the mud underneath, and it creates these ruts. It's just what you deal with in Maine, and I'm sure your yard presents some very unique challenges that I have this long gravel, barely gravel driveway, and you have a shorter, steep driveway. And
Yeah.
so they each provide some really complex challenges.
I need about like $3,000 of gravel jumped into mine because I'm definitely not gonna get that thing paved. That's really
Yeah,
expensive. So there's
you
no
and me
way.
both. We both need approximately the same amount of gravel.
I'll find the proper gravel. It's gonna be something
Yeah,
else. And so I'm gonna do a quick rant because we're gonna make sure we're out on time. We're
that's right.
just about there. So here we go. I think the music's working, but okay. So talked earlier about students and students mentioning they want. So as a music teacher, we want you to give us a real instrument. We want you to give us a multi-$100 to potentially $1,000 instrument that we haven't played before. Instead of showing us how to play it using simpler means and ways that we could do with a maybe household, you know, products, items, give us an instrument that we can barely use so that maybe in 5 to 10 minutes we're not going to like it anymore. We're going to be stuck with an instrument that costs hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars. No, this is why I'm not going to give you everything. And if you try using stuff and you say, are you going to give this to me? No, I want you to try it. This is about trying things out. See if
And
you like it.
it's not about the give.
Yes. It's about trying things out, being able to experience things. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
I
That's
agree.
exactly it. They have to know.
And we always follow up our rants a little bit, but like kids asking me for free things all the time, and it's like no, and that helped solidify my choice to not teach drones and instead to teach rockets that you have to build.
Yep.
Because they're just looking, and another teacher told me this today. I have the option right now, which is a pretty cool option, right? Let me know in the comments what you think. I can teach aerospace or aeronautics through drones, which I can do, and through rockets. The drones, the students borrow them, and they don't keep them, of course, they're expensive. The rockets they have to build, but they keep. And the counselor said to me, I bet you what's driving their vote about which they would like to do is that they are lazy and don't want to build it. And you know what? I'm like, they want to be given something easy. So I support that rant.
Don't give them the easy way.
Nope.
Hey, look at what is this? What does this say?
We are our own community because we need subs.
Please, we need subs. I don't even think maybe we have 5 or 6. That might just be my other YouTube accounts. I think it is. Although I think they just started a new account that I didn't want to like anybody because I want it to be a totally different side of me that nobody sees.
Anonymous burner account, if you will.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it because it required me to have some amazing software to make it look different, and it can't be using Zoom. Sorry, Zoom. We like you for this. I guess we like you for this. I can't run.
We like for now. For now, we're going to be making changes eventually, but
yeah, and we're going to get facials and have really nice skin and hairdos that are really nice and stuff, and potentially.
And honestly, what we can't wait for is when we can do this together in the same room.
Yeah.
With some decent cameras and stuff. So that's why we need subs.
Yeah, no, yeah, just please like this. Just, talk to us. What's going on out there? we don't like to do this. We don't have any ads, of course, in this. We have some ads in the podcast. So if you listen to the podcast right now, yes, Anchor. Thank you, Anchor, for being able to host us. This is great. As far as YouTube's concerned, I don't think YouTube really cares. There are so many people out there. Some people just wake up and have a nice camera and eat breakfast in their pajamas, and because they look a certain way, they get lots of subs, even if they're just talking about going to get their nails done. And I'm not talking about females in general. This could be a male too, but it's something like that with subject matter that doesn't try to get into any major insights in the world. It's just like, I'm just living and I'm just showing
Maybe
you
that's
what
where
I'm
we're
doing.
going wrong.
Yeah, I know. Well, I thought of having an alter version of this where we add in cuss words and we talk about, racy subjects and stuff. But then again, could we live with each other? Could we live with ourselves doing that?
I don't know,
think
man.
So.
Don't threaten me with a good time. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know. We have to change our names. It'd be weird.
Yep.
We could do it the exact same format as this. We just wouldn't say we'd say some different name.
All right. Well, you know what? I've got some wheels, some gears spinning right now. So
Yeah, we'll try it. So next week, everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a different format than this, completely different. I'm going to be tying together many little videos. We're going to have some students that ask us questions. We're not going to put students on, but there's some students that ask questions over the past few years to us, and we want to answer them online in a weird format that's going to be like it could be at our school in a special room. It could be somewhere, and I'm going to make it fun, and it's just going to be a whole kaleidoscope of just a bunch of things stuck together. And maybe this is going to be that one episode where everyone goes, hey, that's pretty cool, but we don't know how the algorithms here on YouTube work. Yep. I guess I could look more into this, but I mean, we have so much going on, and third trimester is going to begin, and that means a whole new curriculum for all of us.
Yep. So we'll be touching upon this soon, but yeah, I think that the next few months will be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm Mr. James.
And I'm Mr. Richie.
And
we are the educators.
Have a great night or day. Enjoy your life.